Hi guys, welcome back to Creatively Crafted Life. My name is Melanie and today is another installment in my 12 Days of Christmas 2021, and today we are going to be making tags. I am going to be using the die tag collection set from Sizzix, and I'm going to be using the medium or second largest tag size. You can either use these for gift tags or also for toppers for cards, just depending on what you have need of. I'm also going to be using the Die Cuts with a View Christmas Basics paper stack. I have used some papers in this collection, but I still have quite a bit left. So I'm going to cut out 6 tags out of pattern paper, and I've got 6 tags already pre-cut out of white cardstock, and then it'll just be a matter of mixing and matching and adding a focal point. So let me pick some patterns and I will show you what I'm going to be working with. Okay, so in the effort to use up paper and not have a bunch of scraps and to not reinvent the wheel, I've only chosen 3 pattern papers, multicolored, and I can get 2 out of each of these. So let me cut out the 6 tags. Okay, for each of the patterns, I like the back sides of them. They're a little less busy, so they read a little more solid. Okay, so what we're going to do for each of these is we're going to trim at 3 inches. And we want to keep these together because we are going to flip them over onto the card. So let me trim all of these down, so 3 inches. So now it's just a matter of adhering these, and it's going to be pretty simple. I'm just going to take some liquid glue and have the main focal pattern up in the top section. We're just going to adhere that right on top, and because we use the same die, this should match up really easily. And then we're going to take the smaller piece and then just flip it over and adhere it the other way. Just like so. So I'm going to go through the rest of these. Let's talk about this one for a minute. So the back side of this is striped, which would be fine. The only problem is that I didn't cut it very straight. And so when I adhere this on, it's going to look crooked. So I'm opting not to use these pieces. So those are the tag pieces all done up. That was super quick. Obviously these are festive in their color, but not festive in their shine. And so I'm going to use this red glitter washi tape just to provide a seam across the ends. Now, as I mentioned, these ones here, I didn't put any paper on here. What you could do down here is just stamp a to and a from, so you could easily write on the front. On these ones, if you are going to use them as tags, you can always write the information on the back, or there's nothing that says you couldn't, you know, put a white panel over top of this, like a label where you could write to and from. I'm like pretty sure I'm going to use these for card toppers, so I am going to decorate them with that in mind, although you can do the same and still use them as tags. I hope that all makes sense. So I'm just going to adhere some washi along the seams. I am going to wrap them because of the reason that I'm going to be using them for toppers. If you are going to use them as tags for gifts, you can still wrap them, but you may want to consider cutting another tag and sandwiching it, or the other option is to trim it flush so that you don't see the wrapped edge. Okay, let me get gluing this down. Okay, for the focal point of the tags, I thought I would either punch out some holly leaves or a snowflake. This is an old Stampin' Up! Punch. This is a punch that came out from Creative Memories. And I'm not sure how well the green on green will look, so, you know, I will test it with the holly and see what happens. I might do one of each just to switch things up. It's not super big, so it might look just fine. Cut 3 more of those. Okay, let's punch 3 of the snowflakes. I'm thinking I might like the snowflakes a little better on the green. And it's okay if the stamped images go off a little bit. I think I like that. This looks good with the green. I actually think I prefer that. Okay, so I'm going to affix these now to the tags, and I am not going to adhere them completely. I don't mind if they pop up a little bit, so I'm just going to add a little bit of glue in the center of the snowflakes and a few in the center areas of the holly. I do want to add a sentiment of some sort, and I don't feel like pulling out stamps at this point, so I'm going to use the small chat from Tim Holtz. If you've been watching my videos now throughout the series, you'll know that this is sitting on my desk. That just makes it very easy to use. And I'm going to use Merry Christmas. That's an obvious one. Season's greetings. Have a holly jolly Christmas. I think that'll still fit on the tag. Guess we'll find out. Ooh, let's trim this. We're not going to go to the edge with that one. There, like that. What else do we got here? Wishing you a very Merry Christmas. We'll have to cut this one as well. Okay, and that just leaves these ones with the white, which would easily work out for stamping. And I think I'm just going to leave these blank. I don't think I'm going to add anything at this point. I can always stamp at them at a later date, or if I do use them as a tag, I can handwrite the person's name on them. Now they do need a little bit of jazzing up, so we need some ribbon and we need some finishing touches. Okay, for the 3 holly pieces, there are kind of indications as to where some sort of berries should go in the middle, and so I thought I would use these half pearls in the red. I have no idea where I got these from. They are kind of a pain because they are stuck together with a string, so I did have to trim these to pull off individually, and I'm thinking they're a little bit old, and so we're probably going to need to add some glue. Just like that. I think that looks cute. Okay, let me do the rest of these and then we'll talk about the snowflakes. Okay, for the snowflakes, I have some rhinestones. These are old rhinestones from Stampin' Up! And I'm thinking of just adhering one to the center and then maybe some of these little ones. These are other ones that are on a string, so I just have to cut them apart. I don't know. I always struggle with placement. I don't like that. Let's see if we can move it. I think that looks okay. Kind of gave it a little bit of movement. Okay, so question for you guys. Do you mass produce? And if so, what works for you for mass producing? Like, how many do you mass produce of each? 5 seems to be my number. Meaning I will usually mass produce up to 5, but after that, I prefer not to. Now that being said, even the 5 that I mass produce probably all have some variation to some extent. Just because I can't help myself. You know, you just gotta switch it up. That's got 5, that's got 5, this is a short one. Let's add one more. There we go. Okay, let's pull out some ribbon. Okay, for ribbon I pulled out some seam binding. I think that will look kind of nice. And I'm thinking 12 inches is probably going to be a lot. So but I hate being short. You know what I mean? Like, I hate running out or fighting with the bow because, you know, I was too chintzy with the ribbon. So we're going to do 12 inches. This is seam binding, which is a lot of fun. This is, I had purchased this from Stampin' Up! Way back in the day. It is Cherry Cobbler. So if you have some in your stash, pull it out and get to using it. Speaking of your stash, I'm going to have a video coming up soon talking about my plans for 2022. And I do have a theme for next year, and it's called, or my theme in my brain I'm calling it, is all about the stash. It's all about your stash, all about using your stash, organizing your stash, using it up, not just hoarding it, you know, finding new ways to use it. I think that's what I really want to focus on. I'm going to try and be good to be very deliberate in my purchases, but I'm not going to say I'm not going to buy anything, you know, sales come on or whatever, new product, but I'm going to try be a little bit more deliberate. Anyways, that video is coming up if you're interested more in the organization side of things, as well as what my plans are for next year crafting wise. So stay tuned for that. In the meantime, I'm going to take a little bucket and I'm just going to take the seam binding and throw it in there, and I'm just going to spray and mist it down a little bit so that we can crinkle it. So we want this to be nice and crinkly. And I think that should do it. And I'm going to air dry it. Now, I'm going to heat dry it. Obviously, you can let this dry on its own. I would let it dry crinkled up so that you get maximum crinkle, but I will leave that up to you. Meanwhile, I'm going to turn this off so you don't have to listen to this blow. Okay, you guys, here are the tags all finished. I love the way the crinkled ribbon looks at the top. It just gives it a little bit of dimension. Otherwise, these are very simple cards. Just a little bit of bling, which you could totally have left off. Well, maybe not on the holly ones, but on the other ones you probably could have. But, you know, if you have it in your stash, why not use it? So that is it for this installment of the 12 Days of Christmas. Thank you so much for joining me, and until next time, happy crafting.